Welcome back to Title Talk with Title Leap. I'm James Brown, founder of Title Leap and real estate lawyer at James and Brown, PA.
And I'm Alexandra and Jim, title manager for James and Brown, PA.
Every week we get together and talk about practicing tips that help you guys get to the closing table quicker and answer your real estate questions.
So let's get started. All right, Jim, we have a question from Steve, a realtor, who asks, can I relist and contract with a new buyer if the buyer did not close on the closing date and they are fighting over the deposit?
All right, so generally speaking, a failed closing where the buyer did not come to the table, the seller can relist the property. They don't need to get a release. I hear this question a lot. I probably got to get a call a week on this. Realtor, seller's agent wants to know, can I relist? Yes, you can relist. The only exception to that would be, generally the only exception would be, if the buyer is demanding a closing occur. So the general rule is, if you're arguing over deposits, sellers can relist. If you're arguing over closings, sellers can't relist. So the deadbeat buyer who didn't come to the table, he's gonna have to know that he can't file lis pendens or he can't hold up the closing. I hear that all the time from buyer's agents. They'll call me and they'll say, I want to do something to stop the closing, and I'll say, you can't. All you want to do is argue over deposits, and you can't argue over deposits and expect sellers not to resell. Good question.
Our next question is from Marina, and she asks, title to a property I want to sell is in the name of husband and wife. They divorced several years ago. He's been renting it out, and she has disappeared to parts unknown. What do I do to sell?
All right, so this comes up all the time. There's one person in possession, there's one person that's disappeared, and the person that's in possession wants to sell. And generally, I would say consistently, I hear realtors say, they should just be able to sell it. The reality is, you're either going to need one of two things. You either need that person who's not around to sign the deed. Everybody can be found. Nobody is not findable for the most part. Or you need a court order. In this situation, you're going to have the benefit, hopefully, of a marital settlement agreement, and you could possibly get a judge to give a declaratory statement, a declaratory order on that marital settlement agreement, saying that the unknown wife doesn't have to sign and the seller can be the husband on his own, the ex-husband on his own. Or you're going to have to quiet title over the wife's. But one way or another, that property will sell. You're either going to find the unfindable wife, or you're going to get a judge's order over her interest.
And I've seen in the past where we've had to push a little bit, and the spouse was found maybe in another country. We had to get the deed to another country. They may have to have it notarized at an embassy, but they show up when...
So a lot of times the findable spouse doesn't want to poke the sleeping bear of the unfindable spouse, because then they're going to want money, and so they say they can't be found.
But it's still easier than going to court.
It's still easier than going to court, and the reality is, if they can be found, the judge is going to require that you make that, they call it diligent search. You're going to want to make sure that you've done all those things to make sure that that seller was not ascertainable. Good question.
Great, thank you.
Hey guys, thanks for watching another round of Title Talk with Title Leap. Keep those great questions coming.
And if you have a contract, remember Title Leap, where we are all about empowering agents with the tools to succeed. See you next time.